listen to the comments from the public, and we'll do what business we can, and then we'll hopefully we'll achieve a quorum. If not, Goldie, I'm going to let you go home early, and then we'll...
No, we got another meeting.
No, okay. All right. Exactly. Town Councilwoman Collins, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Well, we have a relatively light meeting, and we're looking to achieve a quorum. Mayor Pagano has left. He told us he wasn't going to be able to make it tonight. He's got 2 weeks in Italy on vacation, so lucky him. And his wife was made sure he wasn't going to get out of that obligation. And Mayor French had alerted us he was be running late, and he has business in the city. So what we had, Mayor Pagano, I thought had tried to get somebody to replace him for tonight.
Yes, he did try.
And
we're working on it.
And we're trying to locate that person. Hopefully they'll arrive. And then also, I guess Commissioner Brett, at the last second, Bishop said she's not going to be able to make it. Is that right?
Yes, Laura Brett emailed us, and she will not make it. She also was going to try and find someone. So,
okay, so we can, let's do what we can. We can certainly do the Pledge of Allegiance. We can't approve the minutes, but we can hear from the public. You're on TV, Goldie, so this counts.
Not if you don't have a quorum.
Sorry.
Okay, but I just want to say one thing. I love going to Oakland Beach. I love helping Billy when I can. I pass out the agendas and the flyers, the programs. I love that. And I've been to the concerts because I love music. Music is key. Without music, we're dead. Okay? Most of the concerts that I was at, standing room only. Unbelievable. But the most important thing is when I come early, the view from under the pavilion of the sound and across the sound, and sometimes the moon comes up, and the sky is beautiful. It's pink, it's red, it's orange. It's, oh my God, it's incredible, incredible. You can see the gulls, you can see the pigeons, you can see everything on the sand and the people there. It's just wonderful. It's wonderful. People should come, but we need more concerts. We need more concerts.
How much are we up to, 6?
We need
7. Goldie, you're taking us from 4 to 7.
But we need more concerts because they are incredible and people love to come to music. The bands are incredible, incredible. The same as you were the other night here, indoors. I love to be outdoors. And Oakland Beach is the outdoors. It's the most beautiful beach. It's the most beautiful everything. So please, whatever you can do, let's see if we can get more concerts.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Goldie. Bill, keep that in mind, all right, for next year. Please, Linda.
if you can make it, that would be great. Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Linda Wells, Friends of Rytown Park. Just a comment about concerts. Recently, a few people mentioned to me that they were unable to come to a few because they had committed to going to Osborne for some, and I think there may have been an overlap in evening scheduling, so it might be something to consider for next year.
That would be that's an excellent idea because because Portchester also has concerts. It might be if we could coordinate with Portchester, Rye. Well, Harrison's a bit further away. Certainly Rye we should coordinate with, and Portchester and Rye Brook we should try and coordinate with.
Do it on Tuesday or Thursday because the other nights are fireworks.
Right. You think the fireworks interrupt with the music, or?
Well,
that was a joke. That was a joke.
That's it for concerts.
Okay.
In the way of an update, I just wanted the commission to know that we have completed an inventory of the park's trees.
Oh, great.
Bartlett Tree Experts crew came up from South Carolina and accomplished that on September's 12th and 13th.
Beautiful.
The preliminary numbers, believe it or not, are staggering, that there are over 300 trees in the park, close to
Wow.
331, but the
Wow.
number will be confirmed in their final documentation.
Wow.
And that in and of itself underscored to us, the importance of doing what we're doing, so that we know what the inventory is, what the assets are, and can make some more informed judgments going forward in terms of management and tree care.
Excellent.
They will be providing us with a rather comprehensive management report, which will give us specifics with regard to each of the trees, and will include things such as general condition, the age, the height, etc., and some recommendations moving forward in terms of maintenance, care, possible removal, which would be, the last resort.
Can I ask you what they charge for that? I remember we talked about last time. Do you remember what it was?
$8,000.
And we go half and half? Is that what we did?
No, Friends is underwriting this
The whole thing?
100%.
It's something we ought to think about for Crawford Park, no?
Yeah, Crawford Park would be
Better talk to the friends.
more like 500 trees, but yes.
Yeah. Right.
The technology that they use a GPS technology, so it goes pretty quickly,
Wow.
and it's pretty accurate.
Are they going to map the trees as well?
Yes, part of it will be a mapping.
Ooh, that's
Each tree
great.
has been numbered, so it will in fact have its own file of information about it for the park's use, but also for being proactive in terms of, invasiveness or conditions as far as a Bartlett tree or a licensed arborist is concerned, to know, what we have, so that if we have an issue of some kind, you can make a pretty good decision about things. What will precede the management report, as I understand it, is a risk factor list. There are, in fact, trees that were in the inventory that, upon further examination, warrant more immediate attention in terms of possible safety issues, things like that. So that will come in probably first, and then in a few weeks we'll have this comprehensive management report, which we are going to share in full content with the commission, and I think we all will be collectively surprised at what we may be facing in terms of investment to protect the trees. But it will allow us to do planning for things like catastrophic events. If a storm comes through, do we want to replace, not replace? Do we want to replace 10 feet away from where it was? What kind of species is most adaptable to the area and most sustainable? So it'll be a very, very useful tool moving forward. I met with Bill Lawyer because I think this is a pretty big deal. We'd like to get some community exposure and hopefully some community support by having an initial article in the Rye Record, and Friends will have information on their website, which hopefully as this unfolds we can keep the public updated about and glean some public funding to underwrite what it is we need to do. So that's it with regard to trees for the moment. And then we left our information center unfinished this summer. Not intentionally, but that's what happened. So we're moving forward with getting cabinetry that we need for announcement boards and a map to show you are here and what's in the park, so that come spring it will be fully operational.
Beautiful.
And Bill and I have talked about the park's needs in terms of space for announcements, etc. And Friends will take a little postage stamp part of it to put information about us and some park facts, and again some invitation to the public to come to our website and donate some money.
Well, again, thank you so much for all that you do. Why don't you tell people at home how to get in touch with you and your website? What's the actual website address?
The website is www.friendsofrtp.org. But if you search for Friends of Ryetown Park, you'll find it quickly. And we'll be launching some information with regard to the tree inventory about the time that the article goes in the paper, which is the September 27th issue.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And that's it.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you for all you do. Any other comments oh, please.
Just wanted
yes,
to mention we have reached Gene Checcarelli, who is Neil Pagano's designated replacement. He is on his way, so we should have a quorum somewhere in the next 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Other comments from the public? Please, Deirdre. Sir?
Hi, my name is Deirdre Carvin. I currently reside at 125 Central Avenue in Rye. I was really, really happy to see the tree guys when I was walking dogs through the park. I asked them what they were doing. They gave me a rundown, and I think it's amazing that you guys did that survey. It's long overdue, and I think it's really important that we get a comprehensive understanding. There's some real trees in real distress in that park, and I'd love to know where in that plan they're also going to talk about, well, you did mention replacement of trees, because we've lost a lot, and we do need to make sure that we replace. There's a lot less shade at that park than there used to be after last year. I also love the information pavilion, and a suggestion I would make is that when you're putting information about the park up there, you include information about who runs the park, because a lot of people who come to the park have no idea of what the structure is, of who's in charge, and if they have a question or a complaint, they don't know who to contact. They don't know who the manager is. They don't know who these people are. They don't have a phone number. They don't have a website for the Wrightown Park Commission. And I think that that's something that should be included. If people have suggestions or complaints or a problem, it's got to be somewhere. And people down there have no idea who they talk to if they see something at the park. They don't even know where to go to Fred's office half the time. I was a little dismayed to notice the other day that a memo had been put up, and it was the only thing in the information kiosk, and it was a memo listing the rules of the park, and somebody had taken it upon themselves to specifically and only highlight with a yellow marker the rules pertaining to dogs. I know that we have a dog problem at the park. I had a knockdown drag out with somebody down there yesterday because he didn't clean up after his dog. Apparently, he thinks because his dog was a quote-unquote service dog that he doesn't either have to leash it or clean up after it. And apparently,
So what's a service dog?
a service dog is a dog that this dog could never have been. It's a therapy dog, or a dog that's gone through an extensive and expensive training program to become like a guiding eyes for the blind, or a therapy dog for somebody with emotional issues, or
Was this person blind or?
no, he wasn't at all, and I could tell from the way his dog was behaving off-leash with the dogs I had on-leash that this dog, I know enough about dog training and those programs to know that this dog would never have passed a legitimate certification. He was full of BS. But apparently, when I went down to complain to him at the security office, Fred wasn't there. As the guy walked up behind me, the security officer said, "Oh, it's okay, that's a service dog." So we have a problem there. There's a problem with the enforcement of the dog rules. It's targeted and it's selective. There are rules for that park, and the only rules that I see enforced consistently are the rules relating to people with dogs. I have been followed, shadowed, every time I've gone to that park with my dog on a leash this summer. I have had somebody in a golf cart show up almost as soon as I walk in, and they follow me and they wait to see if I'm going to take the dog off the leash, and they park and they sit there and they watch. Apparently but when I said something to one of the security guys a couple of days ago, his answer was, "Oh no, we don't do that to you. Not you, you're not a problem." Sometimes my dog is off leash when there's nobody around at 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night for 5 minutes chasing squirrels. I'm going to admit to that. Yeah, sometimes I break the law, but I don't do it when the park is busy. I don't do it when there are other people there. What I got out of that conversation was that it's okay for some people to do it, but it's not okay for others. You've got to enforce the rules, and if you're going to enforce the rules about the dogs, you have to enforce the rules about the barbecuing, and the alcohol, and the picnicking, and the ball playing. We have a list of rules. The only people that are targeted for enforcement are people that are at the park with dogs. I am the first person that's going to go to town on somebody who doesn't clean up after their dog. Talk to the guy I went after yesterday. I have some of it on video. I was furious. He watched his dog take a poo, and he covered it with dirt and leaves, and I offered him a bag, and he said, "No, I'm not going to clean it up." And we got into a knockdown drag out. I am the first person at that park that's going to go after somebody like that. I know it's a problem, but it's not fair to the people who follow the rules that I can't take my dog for a walk without having somebody literally follow me the entire time I'm there waiting for me to break the law. I feel like a criminal, and it's gotten to the point where it's really antagonistic and it's feeling like harassment. Now, I'm going to say something, and Fred might not like it for a second, but I'm going to get to my point. Forget the dog stuff. I was there twice yesterday. When I was there in the morning, I was walking down the path, and Fred knows I found a huge chunk of cement, probably about this big, probably weighed, I don't know, 15 or 20 pounds, and it had fallen off of one of the, if you know the park really well, one of the stanchions. There's like a 3 or 4 post stanchion behind the benches over that little bridge that goes right in front of Seaside Johnny's. It's old, they're rotting, there are some sort of aluminum or metal railings that are disintegrated and rusted and broken and have sharp edges. It's definitely a safety hazard. It's right behind the bench. I picked it up, I brought it to Fred, and what did I say to you, Fred? I said, when I go to meetings and I complain that the park's not being taken care of, this is what I'm talking about. In his exasperation of basically being told consistently that there's no money to fix this stuff, Fred was pretty rude to me and said, well, do you have $60 million? Because that's how much it's going to fix. 16. Okay, well, we went from 60,000 to 16 to 60. I didn't know how much. It was all more than I have. I know that. So I understood that comment, which I didn't really appreciate, which was not what I think a park goer should be hearing from park management, comes from his frustration. So I had an idea today, and I'm going to run it by everybody, and I don't know where we're at with the capital project and the RFP. I've been busy and I haven't come to meetings or been able to pay attention. But from a fundraising standpoint, why don't we create a catalog of all the things at the park that need to be done item by item, like a gift registry, and start a fundraising drive so that corporations and businesses and individuals can pick a project and donate. If I want to fix that stanchion and I have $5,000 that I want to donate, I can go online and say, I want to put $5,000 towards that specific project. Maybe we can't get it all done all at once because we don't have $16 million, but maybe we can get it done piecemeal. Maybe we can get some of the things done and put it in a list of priority of what's a safety hazard. And I would include trees in this. I would include somewhere to refurbishment of trees. And you guys put out, that's a ton of money you put out, $8,000 for that survey. And maybe we could include a donation for trees. You could get local businesses to donate. You can get individuals to donate. You could have a competition between all the private clubs in town. Everybody have like a fundraising night and see which club can raise the most money and who can beat who out. You can get corporate sponsorships to donate money. You can ask all the people running the triathlon, if you sign up, would you like to donate $25 or $50 to a Rye Town Park Restoration Fund? We might be able to actually raise a lot of money within the community if we put something like that together. And it could be like a baby gift registry. There's this wall and it's going to cost this much. Would you like to donate? Would you like to pay for the whole thing? That might be, it may sound a little off, but it might actually be an effective way of raising some money. And it could get a lot of people involved. You could get the whole community involved in Rye, Portchester, Rybrook. And you might even be able to do the same thing at Crawford Park for the mansion.
I think it's quite a good idea.
I've been brainstorming all afternoon, and I have like a whole list of things here that you could really
yeah, I mean, I think that
go places with it.
Well, so first of all, I think it's quite a good idea. I think that, and I know we have a list of capital expenditures at the park. Maybe we could get those, make them more clear, what specifics, what they cost, and then, what we'll need is a fundraise committee, and hopefully you'll volunteer.
Obviously, everybody said, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
But we can certainly get a commission member as well to work on that. But I think it's quite a good idea.
You have in your packet, you have a draft of something that Bill has worked on for benches.
Okay.
For example, and
take that as a model,
the idea of potentially sponsoring benches, sponsoring repairs to the fountain, etc.
Sponsor the fountain, sponsor a section of the wall, sponsor the entrance stanchions, sponsor the stanchions that are all broken and the railings. A huge community effort, and I think people would really. I think people in this community, get the real estate brokers in town involved. They use that park to sell houses in this town on a regular basis as a centerpiece. Get them. Everybody knows everybody. Have fundraisers at the country club. You could make this like a year-long community effort. You can have a weekend where every business in town competes to see who can raise the most money. There are so many directions you could take this. I think you could raise a ton of money to defray a lot of the costs. If you wait for $16 million to drop into your lap, nothing's ever going to get fixed. And in the meantime, the park is falling apart, and it's really sad. It's really, really sad. The last thing I'm going to say is the garbage dumpsters. It's a disgusting situation. It's absolutely disgusting. They smell. You can smell them through half the park. They're open. They're dirty. There's garbage and grease all over the place from the restaurants. The thing that they're supposed to be enclosed in is falling apart and ripped. That really that's disgusting, and something needs to be done about it. And for me to go down to the park at 10 o'clock in the morning and see everybody sitting on the veranda smoking a cigar when there's stuff like that needs to get done, and I have to say, who's paying for these guys to sit around and have this kind of a break when there's stuff that needs to be attended to, that really annoys me. And I was ready to make a video, but I didn't. So I would be more than happy to brainstorm with people about fundraising ideas, but I really think that that's something that maybe we can consider doing, putting like a gift registry together. Here are all the things we need to do at Rytown Park, item by item. Here's how much they cost. You can either pay for the whole thing if you've got a ton of money, or you can put some money towards it, and everybody can get involved. Corporate, local, individuals, people from out of the area that used to live here. You can set up a website. You can get people that retired and moved away or grew up here and donating money from all across the country if you do it the right way. So
Great. Well, thank you. I think, Bill, would you work with Deirdre on that fundraising idea? I just, the other thing I want to say, though, just, I know our park staff would like to have $16 million. No one takes greater pride in our park than our park staff. And so I appreciate in a moment of frustration, our park staff, but I have to say our staff over the years has been, very, no one wants more out of our park than our park staff. And, we're on a tight budget. And I have to say, we're Mr. Rosenberg, Mayor Rosenberg and myself are making a presentation to the Chamber of Commerce tomorrow night. And as I put my presentation together, we're putting together all the things we've done well. But one of my things that I'm disappointed with is that we haven't done anything to refurbish the park. Just to invest in the park, and hopefully, Christina, Town Councilman Collins is going to provide the solution for us. But sure, Goldie. Yep.
Why can't Seaside Johnny's help? It's right there.
Yeah.
Why can't they hold all kinds of?
Yeah, he should. I'm sure he would be. Maybe that's again another good suggestion.
He's right in the middle.
I'm very confident he would help out with some of these ideas. He's already offered to do that with a blood drive, and I'm sure if we enlisted his support as well. Thank you for your comments. Thanks for the hard work, Mr. Gioffre, Mr. Lawyer. And I think we got a good idea out of all that as well. Okay, other comments from the public? If not, I'd like to invite Town Councilwoman Collins, who's going to give us a Capital Committee report and update. I guess you just found out about this.
I have to say, one of our other committee members is named Christina as well, and I think we had a little confusion on that. But
Which is good.
it's all
with the
all
K or
good.
with the C, right?
Good evening, everyone. As you know, the Rytown Park Capital Planning Committee has been vetting several companies to provide planning and consulting services to us. And at this time, the committee is prepared to make a recommendation to the board. We received 4 RFPs. We examined each RFP and weighed them against several pieces of criteria, including cost, in-house capabilities that each organization had, versus what they would need to outsource to meet our needs, the cost that would then incur, their PR capabilities, because we feel very strongly that's going to be a huge component in dealing with the public. The public is a critical piece to this puzzle, and traffic experience, again, for the community, experience in the local community that they have, and so on. We created a list there. And based on that, we examined our needs, and we determined the firm that we felt was best able to serve us. We then went back to the firms and discussed with them the budget cap that was put on the project by the board. And I'm sorry, I made notes all over the place. So here. One company in particular got back to us, and we were pleased that it was the company that we were originally hoping to engage with. And they got back to us with an amended RFP that was in line with the budget, as well as without compromising our needs. And so it is at this time that we would like the committee to engage with BFJ Planning as you see fit. And if that means, taking it from here and perhaps combining some members of the commission with members of our committee and then pursuing conversations with BFJ, we would be happy to do that and take your lead and provide any support from this point forward.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for all the hard work, because I know you've put a lot of time and effort in.
The committee has been wonderful. We've met several times, very professional committee that's been put together, and it's a very serious project, and it's close to many people's hearts, this park, as we all know.
Yes.
So it's an important project, and we need to take our time in it, but we also have time is not endless here. We have a problem at the park, and we need to solve it.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you saw the email I sent to your committee this afternoon. I'm not sure if the other commission members saw it as well. And first of all, I want to thank you for all the hard work.
Sure.
And it sounds like you've got a terrific candidate within the price point. So what I'd like to do is certainly want to have I was thinking we create a group from the commission to meet with them. And then also whoever from your committee that wanted to as well. And then I talked to some of your committee members ahead of the meeting to see if there was a second candidate.
We do have a second choice, yes.
Second choice. Now, that choice apparently hasn't come in within our budget constraints.
Some people were not interested in working within that budget.
But
we did have to amend it. It's not like we just said, can you do the same job for this price point? What we did was we went back and looked at it and we said, we don't think we're going to need this many hours on this point of the project, or we'll be willing to do this in-house, such as narrow down some of the, sort of do a first-run vetting of the proposals that we should get back, and then engage them to help us narrow it down, to 20 or less, or 12 or less, and whatnot. So, they were able to help us determine our real need and work with something within that budget.
So I think what I'd like to do is take your recommendation, have some members from the commission meet with the vendor, and also give the second place candidate a chance to, if they want to revise their proposal, to come in with budget. If they don't, then we're obviously talking to the one vendor, and then have the commission make a recommendation the next month to go forward. I don't know if any of the commission members.
Well, can we talk?
Sure, please,
Mayor, Supervisor. Can we talk? Do we need to do that in public session tonight? Only because I want to give Mayor French, Mayor Pagano, and Ms. Brett the ability also.
Salanitro,
and Ms. Salanitro's here.
Oh, yeah, right.
So, the ability to also kind of weigh in terms of, first of all, I'd like to say, first of all, thank you. But also, I'm very comfortable with BFJ. BFJ is actually in the process of working on the comprehensive plan for the Village of Rybrook.
Okay.
So we know them, and we're comfortable with them.
Oh, that's helpful, yeah.
But that being said, in terms of, I agree with you that I think that we should absolutely form a subcommittee. But I want to give everybody on the commission the ability to kind of talk about, do they have the time this month, and what their schedules are like. And
well, I know first. Commissioner Salanitro was on the subcommittee, and I don't know if you were
Mayor French.
Mayor French. I know I'd like to meet with them at some point in time. Now, we always have the.
Well, you're the head. You should.
Yeah. So, what I really want to do, I just want to get some sense that they're confident this can be a successful process.
I absolutely agree. I think
I just want to sit down with them and say,
big
how
budgetary
are we
line
gonna do
item.
this? They put together a wonderful proposal, but I'd like to sit down with them and say, okay, guys, what is the probability that if we spend the time and effort and money, because as we all know, the process so far hasn't generated a lot of interest. Now I think if we engage somebody like this, it dramatically improves the chances of doing it. We've been doing it and sort of...
They do come highly recommended by many of the local communities, and that's another factor in terms of one of the things we looked at was experience within our communities.
Right.
And, we were very pleased with some of the feedback we got from the local communities and some of the other projects they were able to share in their RFP that were, in line with what we're trying to do.
Well, I'm wondering, I know Mayor Pagano's out of town until September 30th. And I don't know if I guess we can't have more than 3 commission. Well, I guess we can have 3 commission members.
At a meeting. 3.
We can't have 4.
I would love to do it. I'm just slammed this month.
Okay.
I'd like to stay married.
And I have to say, you have a relationship with BFJ too, so you're also able to weigh in from
They're actually
separate.
at Village Hall tonight doing
Yes,
comprehensive
so there you
plan
go.
meeting.
So look, with the advantage of being here, Commissioner Salanitro and myself, and we'll invite Mayor French.
I would love
Well,
to
you
invite
can't do
Mayor
it.
Pagano just with his
So it's just-
with his background. I think
So if Mayor French can't do it,
real
we'll
estate
ask
planning.
Commissioner Brett. We'll ask Commissioner Brett. Sorry, Mr. Chiccarelli.
That's all right. Yeah, BFJ is a very good.
Is that right?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
Portchester's comprehensive plan.
Is that right?
Yeah, the consultant. They were great.
Really? Oh, wonderful.
Excellent.
That's great news.
Excellent. Yeah.
All right, great. Well, so I think it's, so Commissioner Salanitro, myself, and Mayor French, and/or Commissioner Brett. And then from the committee, I think, there's no limit to whoever committee member wants to participate. Please, they should all feel welcome. So, perfect. We'll do it that way, and we'll meet with them. And if you could just circle back with the second place candidate.
Absolutely.
See if they want to make
You
a
spoke
pitch.
to Dan about that.
Yeah,
I'm sure
talked
he's
about
sort of been engaging with them and handling the RFPs, and they've been filtering through him, so I will follow up with him and make sure that that's
Great.
being
We'll have a
handled.
recommendation for October. Had you thought about when, I know we'll also have to extend the process. We were thinking.
We discussed that, and we think that that's really important for whoever we choose to engage with to weigh in on the recommended
beautiful.
timelines.
Sure.
I don't
Great.
think that's
Fantastic.
at our, we have to
Good.
leave that up to them.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for coming, Christina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Councilman Collins. Okay, Mr. Fred, you got a report for us? Yeah. Tell me it's 8 o'clock, right?
Good evening, Commissioners.
8 o'clock is ours.
Before I get into my report, I would like to answer a couple of the
Please, yes, absolutely.
issues that were brought up.
Yep, please.
Contrary to what Deidre said, where do I start? We do not have any professional cement men on staff, but yet we've repaired stanchions, we've repaired walls, we repaired the whole walls in front of the administration building, sealed the cracks, repainted it. It goes on and on. I mean, with the amount of people we have and the type of people we have, we do exactly what we need to do to keep the park running. The piece that she's talking about, which was a 5-pound piece of cement, fell off the stanchion because the stanchion's coming apart. Well, if she had walked by there today, she would have seen that it was fixed. The piece was put back on, and the whole stanchion was sealed and cemented. Now, how long that'll last? A couple of years. The other stanchions themselves are beginning to fall apart, but we'll address them one at a time. We've repaired the fence up by the north end showers. We put in new showers. We've repaired so many things. Considering the amount of staff I have and the amount of money we're permitted to spend to stay within budget, I'd say we do next to a miracle. Thanks to your leadership, for the first time in the history of that park and this commission, we were able to put a roof on the administration building. Otherwise, the building itself would begin to fall apart. The next step, of course, would be to find the funding to repair that administration building. It's a beautiful building. We'll do the best we can. As far as the bathrooms, a tree fell on it a number of years ago before you guys were around. They got insurance money. They never spent it on repairing the roof. So the roof leaks. So every summer I have to send people in there to patch up the leaks to best of our ability and make sure that it's fairly waterproof. Otherwise, that whole building would collapse. As far as harassing the dog owners, that is so far from the truth, it's pathetic. My guys take so much abuse from these dog owners that it's embarrassing. So when they do go after dog owners, they generally go after the ones that when they ask them to put the dog on a leash and they go away, they take them off the leash within 5 minutes after, so they come back. And they come back. And I've directed them to do that so that we can get the people to adhere to the rules of the park. Now, there's two sides to every story, Deidre. The man that she's talking about with the special dog, he does have the papers for that dog, number one. He came into my office today complaining that some maniac woman was harassing him in the park with his dog.
That was me.
Hold on. And he says, my dog had diarrhea. I covered it the best I could. I couldn't pick it up. So he said, so forgive me. He was I told him, well, if you feel strongly about it, come to the meeting. So he was talking about possibly coming tonight. There's nothing more that I would like than to raise the money to make that park as pristine as possible. we do the best we can with what we have. And as far as promoting the park, well, for 5 years now, Bill's gone out. We've gotten people to sponsor a concert. We've gotten, I have 2 people lined up to rebuild the fountain. We've been going out looking for people that would help support repairs within that park, including Seaside Johnny, for 5 years now. In your packet, you'll see Bill's piece of paper that he had about that very. Now, I thank you for making that recommendation. I'm all for raising money to fix whatever. And I would even participate in that just because I love the park. I've been going there since I was 6 years old. So aside from that, the iffy weather over Labor Day weekend, and back to the report that's in your package, we had 2 major weekends that we were hampered with. We lost 3 out of 4 days over Memorial Day, and then we lost 4 out of 4 days over Labor Day. We were lucky that on 4th of July we got 1.5 out of 3 or 4 days. No excuse. The weather, we can't control the weather. We all know that going into the season. I was able to keep personnel expenses under budget or running equal to budget, slightly above. If that's the case, we'll find out by next month's meeting. As far as security, safety, and parking go, our security staff are a group of committed non-professionals. They do a very good job of keeping the park safe and controlled. Through the whole summer, we got through the summer with very few incidents. And it's because our guys are able to be on the spot, in the place where the problem is, and if it's a problem that they can't handle, they call the Rye PD. Rye PD is down there within 5 minutes, and the incident is over. We have had fewer incidents of fighting on the beach. In fact, I don't think we even had one incident of fighting on the beach this summer because we changed. We have security walking the beach during the day looking for people with bottles, people that are drinking, people that might be inebriated. Our security is doing a real bang-up job, and we can only train them so much. But the one thing that hampers them is, and really knocks their confidence is when they ask the dog walkers in a nice way. If any of my security guys give the dog walkers a hard time, then they have to deal with me. And I'm very strict on that. You have a problem with any of our personnel, and that includes all of our personnel, with any of our customers, you come and see me, I'll talk to them. I admit that I was a little impatient with Deidre when she approached me, but as far as me smoking a cigar with 2 or 3 of my guys, I have meetings out by the pavilion because my office is very small. You could fit 3 people in there comfortably. So I bring my security chief there, I bring my park foreman there, myself, and sometimes Terry comes out there, and that's where we conduct the meetings. I generally do it upwind from anybody that's going to use the park if I have a cigar. So to me, the customer is always the important one. So the only incident we had all summer was that incident where two young people were robbed in the park. We've cut the tree around there. We're going to put lights on the shack. The Rye PD jumped right on that. They did a fantastic job. They caught all 3 of them. I understand all 3 are going to be deported. So they were illegals in the park. Now, the senior staff, I meet my senior staff bi-weekly so that we can have problems filter up to the senior staff so we can make decisions. Well, in our last meeting, which we had last week, unanimously agreed that building a new handicap accessible ramp is the priority for next year. I know we discussed this.
This is going from down to the beach?
Yeah.
Right.
We've discussed it. We put money aside for it. We just hadn't gotten to it yet. Last time I spoke with Bishop about it, we were looking at possibly next spring.
I've got...
that's a priority.
Yeah, and lifeguard Mark Canetta, is that his last name? No?
Mark Casada.
Casada. He's actually got some diagrams and some ideas on that, so if you guys could coordinate with him as well.
Yep.
And I've got the diagrams at home, I'll bring
It's the
them.
best diagram of all the ones that
Yeah.
we've had
Good.
put in.
Okay.
He's a good artist.
He is a good artist, yeah.
So that becomes a priority. As far as parking, beach permits, we were even though we shut down beach permits at the end of July, we still serviced our seniors who kept coming in all the way through this month. And even though the permit office is closed, I would get one of our cashiers in there with them no matter what time of day they came. And so we serviced them. We finished hardwiring the cashiers' booths. We're ready for next season for a better performance on the part of our all of our computerization. The consultant is going to do the software on it, and we will be able to do credit cards next year. Something I tried to get toward the end of the season. It became difficult weather and things, but we should have it up and running by next year. I'd like to mention that we're getting a lot of inquiries about dogs on the beach, and they're beginning to go on the beach. I would be remiss if I didn't give you an opinion from myself.
Sure.
That I think that would be unhealthy. I think that the dogs that go on the beach and defecate and urinate, the urination stays there for the whole season. Kids play in that sand, and the dog owners are already beginning to walk dogs on the beach, even though there's people on the beach. So my security guys are constantly asking them to leave. So this commission is going to have to make a decision on
Well,
that.
what did we do last year?
We experimented.
We experimented last year.
Which
We left
means
the
what?
gates, well, basically, we just left the gates open to the beach 24/7. People did whatever they wanted to do.
And what was the result?
Well, sometimes you had 10, 20 dogs on the beach. Sometimes you had less than that, but typically you always had 4, 5, or 6 dogs on the beach throughout the day.
Did you have any problems?
Yeah, our park foreman took pictures of the defecation on the beach.
Lack of cleanup was the biggest problem.
Is the
on
biggest
beach.
problem.
You know,
We often found ourselves looking for garbage cans. And the rest of us were trying to clean up, and I remember asking if we could get a garbage can on the beach, and we were told that it was too much trouble for the guys emptying the garbage cans to go down onto the beach at the end of the ramp and empty the garbage
Well,
cans.
the thing is, we have no employees.
I don't want to have a big discussion tonight, so
Yeah.
clearly the
Most makes a characterization of everything going on at that park from this meeting, and I don't know why you ended out there. Everything you've said is not true.
I'm being very nice.
I understand.
I want you to understand that. But that woman has issues.
Right. So
Smoke another cigar, Fred.
but I think what we should do, so first thing, so we had left the gates open. And
we had multiple garbage cans at each gate entrance for anybody. We don't put, because we don't have staff in the wintertime, we don't put garbage cans on the beach because of our lack of ability to actually empty them. So we move all the cans to the inside of the
wall.
park, right at the gate. If somebody goes on the beach, it's no different than any other park. If you bring it in,
Right.
you take it out.
Well, so what was at the end of the year? So what condition was the beach in as a result of having dogs on the beach over the course of the winter?
As I said, the only real problem we had was the lack of cleanup. You could walk around and you could see piles of doggy doo in various places.
We took pictures of them.
Yeah.
Linda?
It's not just doggy doo. It's the gulls, the geese, they crap all over the place.
Sorry, Linda,
Doesn't
just,
make a difference. What animal it is, or what bird it is. They all crap.
I feel a little safer speaking now, but I don't think it's just not a hygienic issue. It's the issue of park use. You know, it's the same thing. It's bending for the benefit of a particular user group. The other issue is, you know, there aren't any problems because people probably don't walk the beach because the dogs are on the beach. So are we there for the benefit of people, or are we there for the benefit of dogs? And I would hazard a guess that in the next 2 weeks, when park staff is probably gone, it will become a dog park once again, because there will be no way to enforce the law unless the Rye Police are on board to maintain the policy for the summer. It will be like the Wild West, which is what it's been in the past.